Hello, welcome to the DM's Craft. You're walking down a lonely forest road. You can't see the figures that are hiding in the shadows, waiting to ambush you. Oh, wait a minute, let me go get the lights. Oh, that's better, now I can see you. Today we're going to construct some terrain for a woods encounter, for outdoors encounter. You can set up ambushes in the forest and attack your players. And the easiest way to show that is to get right to it. I've got the various materials I need to make the forest bases. One I wanted to talk about was this centimeter thick plywood that I'm using. I've just cut this out with a jigsaw, and then it'll be pretty burred on the edge because it's like a plywood type thing. And then you want to sand it very well. You can get this stuff at any home improvement store very cheaply. You can get large sheets or smaller sheets. And I've just cut various sizes of bases, as you can see. You can cut smaller or larger depending on your need. I needed some large ones, so I was gonna make the bigger ones. So now we'll move on to the trees. Now there are various ways you can do tree miniatures, but I just use the Woodland Scenics tree armatures. You can buy these online very easily. These are deciduous trees, and I get various sizes. So this one is 5 to 7 inches tall, and these are 3 to 5 inches tall. So just get several of those and you'll be set. There are 12 trees in this pack and 28 in this pack, so you can make plenty of bases out of this stuff. Now I'll give you a closer look at these trees. I'll take the larger tree out. Now you can see it doesn't look very much like a tree. It's flat. It's just a flat tree. But it also has a base attached to the tree. So you can see that right there. So this piece comes off, and then when you put the base on the stand, you can just attach the tree. Now one nice thing about that is that you can pop these trees off, and then you can store the bases flat, and the trees can lay down too, so you don't have this big poofy tree base. So that's a nice side effect with that, or a nice little extra bonus. Now, we still have the problem with these trees being flat. So what you do is, how I start is I kind of just start bending the tree armature like this. And see, it's already starting to flare it out. And this stuff's very resilient. So there, I've kind of got it flared out already, but it's not flared out enough for my taste. So what you can start doing is bending branches. And this stuff stays very well where you bend it. It doesn't have much of a memory, so it doesn't go back to where it was. And there, look, I've got a nice tree in just a few minutes. There are tons of other ways you can make trees. You can bend wire, you can do all that stuff. You can use pipe cleaners, which I've done before. But that is very labor intensive and time consuming. This just took me a minute to do. So, you know, if you just spend a little bit of money, you can get tons of these tree armatures and bend them up very quickly, and then you're ready to go. Now the armatures are brown, so you're pretty much ready to go right out of the package. But I like to add a little more detail, so while they're flat, I kind of like to paint them up a little bit. So For example, I'm going to paint this. I'm going to use a little bit of a gray because trees tend to be, if you look at trees, their bark tends to be like a lot of them have a silvery bark, so you can simulate that with a gray. So while it's flat, I'm just going to kind of hit it a little bit. And I'm not going crazy. I'm not trying to cover up the whole tree. I'm just barely brushing some on. And that just adds a little bit of tint to the tree. And you can even wipe some off with your finger if you get a little too much on. You don't want to kill it. And then what I could do is I have a little bit of a tan here. So some trees have a little more of a brownish. So I'll just put that on there. Wipe a little off. So then I've got a little variance in color in my trees. And so what I'll do is I'll bend these up and then we'll be ready to go. Now remember, when you're making a forest, you're just trying to give the hint of a forest. You don't want to make it so impossible that the players can move around in the forest. So basically with this size of a piece, I'm just going to add 4 trees to this base. So basically here's the little stumps, and they are interchangeable with all the trees. So I'm just going to glue some stumps down, and like this. And that will represent this. 4 trees will represent this forest section. Like I say, you don't want to make it so crazy that the players can't see through it or move their figures through it. But you want to give a representation of the forest. So now before I glue those on, I'm going to score them. So I've just got this carving tool. You can use an X-Acto knife. Anything like that, and I'm going to turn this over and I'll score it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to score the base. I have this sharp tool, it's just a carving tool, and I'll just start scratching the bottom. Now this plastic is slick, so when I glue it to the board, it'll have a tendency to come loose, but if you score it, the glue has a place for adhesion. It can go in the crevices and it'll stick better. So I've got that scored. Let's see if I hope you can see that. So I'll do the rest of the bases and then we will move on to the gluing.